Colorado's mandatory reporting law is intended to protect vulnerable populations from abuse. To help you understand the law, you need to understand the vulnerability of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, what constitutes abuse of people with IDD, what proper care and support should look like, and that victims with intellectual and developmental disabilities are afforded the same rights as other victims.
Hi, Sergeant Boss.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thanks for coming by today. I appreciate it.
No problem. What are we here for?
Well, as you know, because persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities rely on other persons to help them with most of their activities of daily living, such as shopping, eating, transportation, they're much more vulnerable to various types of abuse than other people.
Correct. So, is that what I'm here for today?
Yes, today I asked you to stop by so that I could report an instance of verbal abuse.
A report of suspected abuse should include as much information as possible, including the name, age, and address of the at-risk adult with IDD, the caregiver if there is one, and the person reporting. The report should also include the name of the alleged perpetrator, as well as the nature of the abuse and any other relevant information.
I know that the law requires me to report abuse, suspected abuse, or cases of imminent abuse to law enforcement within 24 hours.
Yes.
It's not enough anymore just to report that to my immediate supervisor.
Okay, I understand. So, what took place?
Abuse of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities is the same as the abuse of anyone, a form of mistreatment by one individual that causes harm to another.
There wasn't any taping to a chair. There was no locking in a room. They didn't apply the brakes to their wheelchair unnecessarily. They didn't over-medicate them. So I'm hearing all these. What type of abuse are we talking about here?
Well, I would have reported all those types of abuse as well. What I witnessed was a form of verbal abuse.
Types of abuse include physical abuse, such as hitting, emotional abuse, for example, a caretaker verbally berating a client, and sexual abuse. Self-neglect is not a crime and should not be reported to law enforcement. However, if you feel self-neglect may be impacting a person with IDD's quality of life, call your local Adult Protective Services office and ask them to investigate.
Are there additional supports available through the police department to help my client through this incident?
Absolutely there is. Like all victims in Colorado, persons with IDD fall under the State Victims' Rights Act. And so we'll route this to our Victim Services Unit, and we'll also route this to our Special Victims Unit, and they'll further investigate this matter and see if there are any other allegations somewhere that we haven't found yet.
Okay, thank you.
In summary, people with IDD are more likely to be abused because they are often reliant on others for help with basic, intimate life skills. Hitting, verbal berating, and unwanted sexual contact are all abuse as related to people with IDD. Self-neglect is not abuse. Taping or tying someone to a chair, locking someone in a room, over-medication, and applying the brakes to a wheelchair for reasons other than safety are examples of abuse. Victims who have an IDD, like all victims, are covered under the Victims' Rights Act.